Hey guys, and welcome to the first audio commentary, which is more than audio this time because we have video. So, upgrades. I know, right? You can tell it's the second album and not the first one. The budget hasn't gone up, but it's fine. The gear has. I want to explain who's beside me because you're probably wondering.
Just look random otherwise.
There's just no explanation for it.
Yeah.
Nathan, we've written so much together.
Yes.
But not only did Nathan help me write the first song on my record, you also start the whole album.
I know. This is just...
And it's the title track of the album.
Well, it's all my dreams come true in one. If you had said to me that, you're going to be writing the title track for the album and it's going to be you that opens the album, can you write that song? It would never, ever have happened. Do you know what I mean?
That's too much pressure. It's like when you go into a writing session and they're like, just write a hit. And you're like, oh yeah, just write a hit.
They just fall out. That's cool.
Yeah.
So this is brilliantly accidental and I'm chuffed, absolutely chuffed to bits. It's brilliant.
It's great.
Brilliant.
I'm going to get into the whole explanation of Confessional, where it came from, and I've got questions for you because I haven't seen you in so long.
I know.
Because you live at the other side of England.
I live in the other side of the world.
Yeah, which explains how this song was written as well. But I want to first explain my eyeball. So I'm going to look into that.
Look at that. That's
beautiful. Yeah.
Wonderful thing.
If you want to actually see it, look at that. Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful. Basically, I've been really ill. This is my first day back at work in 2 weeks because my nan passed away and then I got really ill, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm back. Life's great. Let's get back to work because serious stuff is happening because I'm actually mastering this song on Monday. But when people are watching this, the song's out.
That's right.
So...
It's already done.
It's done.
But the eye doesn't look that bad.
I mean, I'm enjoying it.
No, it does.
It looks terrible.
Really bad.
I can't look people in the eyeball.
No.
I'm like, oh God, I'm literally that person on the tube now with the sunglasses on. It's great. But it's for their own protection. If they think I'm a douchebag, it's fine. I'm just channeling my inner Bono.
It will go. It will go.
Yeah, I just got 10 days or so. It's
yeah.
great. I love it.
It's like I've hit you.
Oh God. Okay, so I want to start getting into this. So before I do that, what have we written together? We've written a lot together. Mm-hmm. We wrote Lifeboat.
Yep.
We wrote loads of songs for the first album, but only that was the one that made it.
Yep.
And then we wrote Merry Christmas, Mum and Dad.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Mum and Dad with Mark Rapson.
Yeah, which is on the Little Life EP.
Cool.
And then I did a movie called Songbird, and I wrote one of the songs. And then I'd used all my chords because if ever anyone knows me, they know I'm I'm not exactly competent in that regard, when it comes to chords and stuff. It's not really my jam. So I emailed you and asked you if you could send me over a track.
Yes.
And you did.
I did, yeah.
And now the movie's won stuff.
That afternoon, and then it turned into a song.
Yeah. And it's an award-winning movie.
Well,
you know. That's now I can call myself an award-winning songwriter.
These things, you'd never know these things would happen, would you? You just do them and see what happens.
You're just doing it. You don't think of consequences, which is obviously not good.
No, because you've got no idea you're about to release on the world. You've got no idea what's coming, have you?
Well, you can't really think about the consequences though, because if you wrote every single song, right, every time you sat down to write a song and you thought how people would hear it, then it would be weird because it's not your song. Then you're writing a song for other people, which is you may as well write an advertisement.
Absolutely. Well, no, and also when you become self-conscious as a writer and you start to think, how is this going to be perceived and what are people going to think? And you do that internal monologue, then the imposter kicks in and stops you from actually saying anything.
Yeah.
So it has to be, oh, blimey, I didn't realise I wrote that, rather than, right, I'm going to set out to write something. It has to be something that just happens, and then afterwards you go, oh, right, now they might think that, and they might think that, and that could be interpreted like that. And that is a post-analysing. If you do it whilst you're doing it, it can sometimes stop you from writing in the first place.
Well, this is what we were saying at the very start. If I told you all the things that Confessional is, the song,
that
it's the opening track, it's the title track, and you're opening the album, the song, chances are, wouldn't be the same song at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Bizarre. I can hear the ice cream man.
Is that the ice cream man?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Damn, I wanted ice cream.
Like a 99.
What else? We did that, and then this song was different in the sense of, I wrote Confessional before I wrote that song for the movie, so this was even earlier. I think it was 2016 or something ridiculous that this song was written, and it was because you live at the other end of England and I live in London. It was really no.
It's difficult, right?
Yeah.
So ordinarily...
'Cause you got kids as well. You got a life.
I've got a life and stuff, mortgage and a wife and children and a...
Humble brag.
Is that humble brag? Is that what they call it? Yes, I'm so meek, and I was working 9 to 5, and this was just something I did on the side when I had a chance of my poor little humble life.
Some of us have no responsibilities and we're just out here floating around.
Imagine that.
I mean, I don't have to. That's me.
That is you.
Yeah.
You're lucky to be able to
I have
do
no
that.
ties.
No, this is it. I've still got to unload the dishwasher and do stuff like that.
I mean, apart from doing my own washing, this is fine.
Well, that's something. There's Humble in there somewhere. He can come out. Yeah, but being a long way away, normally when we work together, it'll be just you, me, guitar, notepad, cup of coffee, and see what comes out, and we'll work through things. Previously, that's how it's worked before. But because of distance, we've started to do a little bit of this sort of backing track work, so sending on ideas, and actually not fully fledged ideas, I think has been part of what we do as well. So instead of it being full production, all bells and whistles, all you've got to do is jump on this, it's much more, here's a sort of skeleton of an idea, here's some hooks that kind of work, here's some chords that create a mood and some rhythm, and just see what you come up with over the top of that, and then let that then take natural process from there to make the final record, and then see who else can interact with it and add it to become something that it is. I mean, if you look back on how the backing track that I sent you for Confessionals was, it's very, very different to how the original the now the mastered record is sounding.
Yeah.
But there's a through thread, isn't there? There's a soul to it that's carried on.
Yeah, the essence of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of, because the way I work, because I said earlier, I'm not a chord person. I'm not actually that, and that side of my music brain doesn't really work, because I'm just like lyrics and melody. So it's like, it's the nice thing that I get to do, where I get to hear a track and then go, but what is it saying to me? Like, what do I hear? What do I feel when I hear this song?
Yeah.
And that, when I heard the track that you sent me, I was just like, oh, it's unapologetic, and it's like, I don't know. I remember getting on the train. No, not even the train. I got the coach. You know, like what do you call the buses from the airport?
National Express, right?
National Express. I was going back to Ireland for the weekend to visit my parents, and you'd sent it over, and I was like, okay, I'll just put it in and see what comes to me. And I literally wrote like the first verse and chorus on the coach.
Did you
to
really?
The airport, yeah.
See, can't stop it when it comes, right?
No, because I was just like, oh, it's so cool, and like, no one's ever like, no one's really ever like listened to me or seen me and gone, yeah, she's cool. Like, she knows what cool is. Like, in school, one of the kids actually called me the Antichrist of cool, which I was like, that's actually kind of cool, and I like that, because that's kind of more me.
Yeah.
And I just thought the song sounded really cool, and I was like, I don't want to miss an opportunity to actually get on to something that I think is really cool. So I just wrote it really quickly, but it's one of those cases, you know, just like, the words just kind of come to you and you're like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Just dictaphoning as well. Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's cool. We'll see what happens. It's probably not that great, because I have that thing where it's like, it's either like, oh, that's cool, we'll use that, or it's like, that's terrible. Yeah. Why did you think that was a good idea?
Well, I think sometimes when you're writing, part of it is to get out of the way of it rather than be in the way. And if you've just been on a coach and you get the idea, it was the same with the melody. This
was one of my questions. How did you come up with that?
Well, I was working on the track before that melody came in, and then I took a break for a little while, just a little ear break, and went downstairs, and then I was making a cup of tea. It was one of those sort of oh, that kind of works. And then as I was getting up the stairs, I sing a bit louder to make sure that it goes in, like it stamps the melody in. Otherwise, I'll forget it, right? And I didn't have my phone on me to sort of dictaphone that in. So I ran back upstairs again, and then just it was a bit of energy in there. And I quickly grabbed the mic and laid it over the top of the chords, and I thought, I might layer that up actually, and I layered it up to see if I could maybe take some of the chords out and let that vocal be part of it. And then it's just sort of it became bigger and bigger and layered and layered. And I thought,
because it was huge.
It sounded
the
like
one
it,
you
didn't
sent me over was like so many layers of vocal.
Yeah,
like,
I got a bit carried away.
It was great though. I loved it because it was like just hit you in the face with like voices. I thought it was awesome, and I don't know. It just kind of inspired that part of me, which was, you know, the whole song. Lyrically is not apologizing for who you are, where you've been, or what your past is, and you just want to be honest. So it just kind of, because of the wall of sound and the production wise, I've gone for that. It kind of sounds like a march, like a marching band.
It's huge, yeah. I mean, the way where it's turned out from where it was originally is just it's cinematic. It's massive sounding.
But it still has the same heart though, which I like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like a big, huge marching cinema. But I don't know. The idea of the marching band thing for me was like, marching bands can be so annoying.
Yeah.
You can't ignore it. Like if there's a like one of those like going down your street, you're like, oh God, it's so loud. And I like that element of it. I was like, if I can get that in, this would be great, because I don't want to be apologetic, and I don't want to hide under my sound or my message, or be any way shy about it. So it's like, all right, then let's like do it like a marching band, because like if you're there and you're marching, you're loud and proud. And I like that idea of like putting my message of like, no, this is where I came from, this is where I'm going, this is who I am, right on top of that.
Yeah, that seems to work really well, didn't it? You put those two things together. I was going to ask you about the idea of, the confessional as a theme for it all. It's almost choir-like in some respects to that intro. Did you, when you wrote it, was you thinking this is too brave or too much or too exposing, or was I saying too much, or it just was what it was? So behind the cameras and behind the internet and all that kind of stuff, and even on the internet, like to a certain degree, I'm a very over-honest person. I'm very over-sharey. I don't really know like where the boundaries lie on like topics of conversations. And I like that. And also I seem to be this type of person that when I meet people, like I've gone on dates, and in the first date they've told me like all of their life and all the horrors of their life and stuff. And it's always that thing. It's like, I feel comfortable telling you those kinds of things. And it's because I feel comfortable talking about those kinds of things, because nothing kind of like hurts me more than small talk. Yeah. And I feel like some songs feel like small talk. Like there's been songs that I've written where it's just like, it's kind of like a love song, kind of about this thing that this guy seeing, and that to me is like the small talk of music. Whereas like it tires me out. Whereas what excites me is when you're just honest. You're just telling your own truth, because there's no hiding behind it. If you're just like, this is me, this is who I am. If somebody doesn't like it, then you're like, it's like playground stuff. It's like, I don't like you. You're like, okay. You didn't get small talk back at you, and often if you've been that open, then that gives the other person permission to be open back. Before you know it, you've actually had a depth of conversation, and you get to know someone properly. Exactly. It takes a long time for some people to do that. So, but I think as an artist, and from working with you previously, there is it's all born out of conversation. It's all born out of conversation, isn't it? You have a chat, you work out where a mood sits, and then there's a lot of trust, and to be open very quickly with people, to be able to then talk about stuff that's actually needs processing almost. It's like it is being processed, isn't it? It's like a weird therapy session. That is really weird. That is really weird. But I've always liked that about songwriting sessions. It's like you have this opportunity to sit down with a person and just tell them this thing, or something about your past or something about your life that you can actually then make art about. And I think that's really cool. And I don't really think that there's many jobs where you can go in and just be like, oh, so I just got dumped. And it'd be like, okay, let's turn that into something beautiful. Yeah. Normal jobs, it's like, okay, we don't want to hear about your life. Can you like not? Whereas I feel like the arts is amazing in that regard of like, oh, let's talk about that, and like make it into something great. And I don't know. I think because I've been doing this in the weirdest way for a long time, since I was like 17, I've been doing songwriting sessions, and that literally meant a 17-year-old me would just turn up on people's doorsteps, like. Before I lived in England, like I would just fly over, turn up at some randomer's house, and just trust them that nothing wrong would happen. It's crazy that you would do that. Yeah. That's a safeguarding nightmare, you know that. I know. Like, no one questioned it. I didn't question it. It wasn't until one of my best friends was like, so you mean... So, this guy's like 50. And I was like, yeah. And you just turned up at his house. Yeah. In the middle of the countryside. Yeah. And none of that seems weird to you, John? I was like... No, but I got a good song. You must have a good weirdo gauge. Or not, maybe. Me, I don't know. I think I've got too much faith in people. But I would rather have too much faith in people and be let down than have no faith in people and just live my life like people suck. Yeah. Because nothing annoys me more than that phrase of, oh, everybody sucks. You're like... You've just written off the whole human race there in one sentence. Well done. That gets you out of any responsibility to do anything about it. Yeah. And it's all your fault. It makes me sad, I want to bring up, so I've got my notes here on my computer before anybody yells at me. There's so many things that I have to ask you, but let's explain the changing of, because it was originally swung, wasn't it? It was, yeah. And then we changed that.
And you had to come
straighten it
in
out.
and...
I've got a really bad habit. It's not a bad habit because sometimes it works occasionally. I the kind of soulful, there's a groove to some of the stuff that if I'm on my own, which I was at the time, I have a tendency to just put a little bit of groove or a bit of sort of R&B and stuff.
Which I thought it was cool, but I just don't think I'm cool enough to carry that.
Neither am I, so I don't even know why I bother doing it. But it originally had that more of a swung vibe to it, and then obviously with the Celtic elements, then when you
swung Irish instruments,
it doesn't really work, does it? So it needed to be straightened out completely. So the original vocal that had the swing to it needed to be re-recorded again once the track had started to be produced.
And I got you up to this studio that we're sat in.
Here, yeah.
Which I wasn't here because I was in the studio with the producer revocaling all the tracks in the album.
Right, that's right. So again, we weren't even together at that point.
No, we're just never in the same room. This is a miracle.
But it does happen. It does come to. We're in the same room now.
Yeah.
Quick, let's write a song. But it was good to do that because it was a test for me because you have to push yourself out to learn something new, right? And I just, under the instruction of Rick, your manager, who happens to be a pretty good producer and a good mate as well.
Shout out to Rick.
Yeah. Sort of helped straighten that out a little bit, which is cool.
It took me like 3 times though. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I vocaled it like 3 times just to get it right.
Oh, really?
Because I was kind of in the halfway house. I'm consistently wrong. I'm consistent as a human. But that does mean that anytime I'm wrong, it's consistently wrong, which is great. But I laid down the original demo vocal, and then I kind of quickly revocaled it with Jonathan, the producer. And it was the swung thing, but it was me trying to do swung, which just doesn't work. So basically, for most of the time, I was kind of like on the in-between. And then I got your new not swung vocals, and then I had to revocal it again with you really, really loud in my ears so that I had somebody who was right. Because if I'm left to my own devices, I get it wrong.
Right.
So I remember as soon as you did that, I was like, thank God, now I can actually vocal this song because I kept doing it wrong.
Well...
So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Making me seem like I know what I'm doing.
Well, I made it up as I went along anyway, so I'll take that compliment, although really I was just making it up as I was going along.
Isn't that the whole music industry though?
Yeah, who knows what exactly, yeah. It's that jump off the cliff and build the plane on the way down, to quote a really shit quote. That's exactly what happened there.
Oh, but I like that about the music industry though, because everybody can always claim that they know everything and that they have this mold and they know what they're doing, but nobody does.
No,
nobody has a clue.
No,
and I love that.
Yeah,
because you don't have to feel weird or bad about doing your own thing.
It's because you haven't got the formula. There is no formula. So if you haven't got that, no one's got that, then maybe you strike it lucky a couple of times. And
well, I think what happens is somebody does something different, so they make their own path and their own formula, and then there's a wave of people who copy that, and some of it sticks and some of it doesn't, and somebody else goes away and does their own thing, and it's this game of do you want to copy a formula that somebody else has laid down that might work, or do you do the even riskier thing of making your own formula but be the birth giver to that and have it work, or chances more likely that it doesn't work,
fail badly.
yeah, but at least you did your own thing instead of carbon copying.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's that, what pill do you take? And that's what I've liked about the whole indie side of things. The amount of people that try and tell you what to do is beautiful.
Yep.
I love it. It's just one of those things where you're like, but you don't know, because no one knows. And that's what I like about the job. And I'm sure on this campaign and this album, there's so many things that people could pull me up on. That's a terrible idea. Why would you be honest and tell everybody all of your flaws? Because I can. Because no one's saying don't.
And sometimes as well, do you feel like you have to write through a song to get to the next one? Have you ever had that where it's been so stuck in your head until you actually get that out, you can't write another one? So that's part of the process, isn't it? This is all part of the journey. Each song you write leads you on to then being able to think about the next one. And sometimes you can't avoid a song. You've got to write that song.
I think for me, message-wise, I have that thing where it's until I write about this topic, I can't write about something else because that'll be the most burdening thing on my brain.
It won't let it go, yeah. Yeah.
And all of my little like snippets of like lyrical ideas will always come back to that thing I'm really focused on.
Yeah.
And that's really frustrating.
It is, isn't it? It's
because you're like, I just want to write a happy song today. It's like, no, you must write about this thing from your past that's eating you alive on the inside. You're like, okay, if I write this, will you just shut up? And I think
then you compromise with that voice as well, because you're like, okay, I'll write this
if you just let me.
I'll twist it somehow so that you don't win, so that like a
Scissor Sisters vibe where it's like this song sounds like super duper happy and great, but like on the underlying actual meaning of the song is really dark.
Yeah,
that's my favorite type of writing.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's kind of the whole album. Where it's like, this song sounds like it's about this thing. Actually,
not at all.
No. But I like that. I like that music's like open for interpretation. Because like there's definitely some songs that are just, you just know what the song is about. And I love that. Like there are certain songwriters that I love because of the literal, like it's just literally what it is about.
Yeah. And
I enjoy that. But I can't do that. That's not really for me. You know?
You're putting trickery in there. So people have to work stuff out. And I think what happens is when you listen to a record like that, you get an aha moment yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's because you've discovered it, right? If it's too explicit and you haven't actually discovered something about that record, then there's no work for you to do. So you don't have that aha moment, right? So if you all of a sudden you listen to a record and you go, wow, there's something in that I think only I relate to because I've worked that out. Because of there's some metaphor and hidden meaning and underlying context and that kind of stuff.
But what do you listen to when you listen to music? What do you pick up on? Because I know some people are very much just on the vibe of a track. They just hear a song and they're like, oh yeah, that's cool. I just got that vibe.
Yeah.
Or there's people who like dissect.
Yeah, I think over the years I've become more analytical in the detail and don't think of the macro, if you like, and that's kind of, that can be a problem because you're not listening as the record's meant to be listened to initially. So you want to take on the whole thing first and just really enjoy that. Then you start to sort of pick it apart. I have a tendency to be drawn towards sonic sound production, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Because I want to hear a particular sort of thing, if you like, and then afterwards I'll listen to lyrics, probably last, funnily enough.
Wow.
Which is really weird because as a writer you want to convey story and message, but I go at it really quite backwards. It's much more music.
I don't think there's a right way.
No.
Because I've heard it from so many people that's the way they do it, where it's like, the lyrics are the last thing I listen to. Yeah. And as someone who like predominantly writes lyrics, I'm like, cool, sick, man. I love it.
Yeah, back of the queue. Sorry about
no one cares. Because most people just like put music on and it's just on in the background. Or they're just like commuting and it's just there. They're just chilling. Like, I think that's what I've learned a lot in life is people don't think that deep.
No.
Not everybody's that deep.
No, and that's why I think you've got to release it out there without you thinking that it's perfect as well.
Yeah.
Because you're listening in such high definition that most people will eventually listen to once they've lived with the record long enough. But if you're just dissecting it too much, you won't actually release it. Sometimes you just got to put something out there.
You just got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, says me, this is like 4 years now without an album.
This is a perfectionist album, isn't it? It's got to be absolutely spot on.
I just had to like mess up my life enough before this album
enough
came
suffering.
Out.
You've suffered enough,
I've suffered
right?
enough now.
Right, okay.
Like, I'm on that like self-love journey now.
And you can only release an album like this, I think, once you've risen from it. It's very difficult to release as you're writing because you haven't yet got enough distance from the material maybe to be able to be...
Too real.
Yeah, and it's going to be like, you're going to be in bits every time you're asked about the record and whatever. So it's all power to you to be where you're at because that means you've actually done that cathartic process. It's ready to be heard and you're ready to actually be analytical about it rather than be within it.
Because you're too close to it. You're far too close to it and you're far too close to the pain. And that's not a good place to be.
No.
Obviously when you're performing things live, you can realign yourself with the feelings that you had. But like as a human being who's like living day to day, that's why I had to do this album in this way. It was like, I have to write about these horrible things. And once they're out there, they're not mine anymore. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Like, you don't owe me. I don't want anything to do with you. But that's it. We're over.
It's in a box. You can look at it from over there.
Yeah, but you can't put that kind of album out unless you are, like, if you're 100% sure that you're like detached from those things.
Yeah, stronger for it.
You might fall over and write a hit.
Yeah. So in the beginning, it started off working on a track in my bedroom, right? So I've got a little project studio in the bedroom, which is actually half my wardrobe. So I've got these wardrobe, like glass mirror door wardrobes, right? So I cleared out my half of the wardrobe and put in a little project studio just to be able to get ideas down.
Oh my God.
So it's like a naff Narnia that don't go anywhere. And so from this little bedroom in sunny Bournemouth, I sent you the track. Where's that gone from there to get to where it's at now? Like for me, track, because I don't see it and never did. What the journey is from that point to here's an idea. What do you think? I
have a really bad habit of not telling you what's going on with tracks either.
Or feeding me. That's the other thing. You have a bad habit.
Or feeding.
I never eat when we work together.
That's why we started doing this file sharing thing instead. So you're like, I can actually have it.
Eat at home at least.
Yeah. So from your little studio, it went to here, which is in Stevenage, where the office is, where management are, where I spend a lot of my time. Demoed my own part of it here, like my vocal, and it went from there to like Rack as well, building on that demo vibe. I love Rack as well, it's great, but it's like the little writing room, so it's not even like one of those big grand studios that you can rent out. It was just the writing room where Jonathan is. We demoed it there. From there I took it to Ireland, so I took it to Dublin Westland Studios, which is no longer with us anymore, which is really sad, because it was a beautiful studio, and I got so many Irish musos on it, which like the thing that I loved about going and doing the Irish side of things was, for the first time in years, I felt like it was a language that I spoke, because I grew up in like a Ceilidh band. I think I was in the Ceilidh band at like 5-6, so like this idea of like traditional music is actually something that I get, you know, and I just felt really comfortable in my element and being able to actually ask, because I know what the instruments are capable of, so being able to ask the musicians, like, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Whereas normally I would be like, I don't know what the violin is capable of, you know? So it was like this lovely, refreshing moment where I had all these musos in. But downside of Irish music is, and I have it a lot, even like I find myself somewhat restricted, there you have like your little pocket, your little zone, your little where you're comfortable, and it kind of was a thing where you ask them to do something that's a bit maybe contemporary or pop or whatever, like, can you just play this riff but play it a bit more like it just doesn't work.
Right.
You can't take traditional players and try and get them to do something that's not within the traditional realm. But I liked that though, because it kind of was like, no, here you go, here's what they're capable of, here's what you can use, and you know that it's authentic because that's what's authentically them and of traditional elements. Like this is what you've got, and I like that. But it did kind of restrict certain things. However, on this song, it totally worked. Obviously, taking out the swing. Because in my head, I'm like, oh God, what would it have been like if we kept this swinging and tried getting the players to do it? I don't know.
Could you be a bit more R&B, lads?
Yeah.
I'm not going to cut it, is it?
Don't think so.
But it's interesting that was where the shift was there, wasn't it? That was where the shift that changed some of the drama of the record. It went from something that had that kind of that groove to it, that went somewhere that had, right, there's drama here, because of the nature that it got shifted at that point.
Less R&B, more cinematic, but also can we have like Irish vibes. And there's loads of weird instruments on it. It's like Uilleann pipes, which are so weird you can kind of make them cool.
Right.
You know, because it just sounds like you're playing with a weird sound. And I don't know, I just love that, like I said earlier, like that idea of like the marching vibes. And I don't know, I just...
Can you remember how it was recorded? Was it everyone together ensemble style?
I wanted it to sound like that.
Right.
I wanted it to sound like there was just a room full of Irish players and it was just, you know, organic, naturally like that, but it wasn't.
Right.
I had like a schedule of every single musician, what day they were in, what tracks they were playing on. So it was all recorded individually.
Right.
And probably too many takes of like, can you play it like this? Or can you play it like that? And we, I think the most amazing thing, you might notice it on like verse 2, is I had this bodhrán player, and I think his name was Brian, and he was amazing. He didn't just play bodhrán, he played absolutely everything. Like, he even played cow's ribs.
What?
Yeah. The ribs of a cow.
How do you play the ribs of a cow?
I don't know, but he did. Do you know that weird tapping noise you can hear like in verse 2?
Yeah.
That's cow's ribs.
That's a dead cow right there.
Yeah, that's a dead cow.
Nice.
This album is not suitable for vegans. I do apologize. Oops. But no, you just like had like a box of things.
Yeah.
That were just like, well, that's Irish. That's Irish too. Okay, you just whack it all on and we'll see what happens.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so the best Boron player I've ever seen in my life, and just so much fun. I think that was the nice thing about recording it at home, actually, was the banter.
Yeah.
Like the laughs that you get.
Yeah.
But also then, God, it came back then full circle. So we leave Ireland, come back to London, go back to the writing room, and then I rented the studios, the big studios in Rack. Like twice, like getting English musos on, and I don't know if it actually made the track, but like I had a bunch of people in doing like BVs and just singing and shouting and screaming for other tracks, and I also had players in to play on other tracks and things. But I got the choir, this group of people to sing the da 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 da. I got them to sing it, totally forgot. And I don't think it's on the record.
Really?
I genuinely... It wasn't until I watched footage back recently, because I'm like editing the videos and stuff, that I went, oh my God, I did not realise that they even did that at all.
It sounds to me like the process was, we'll get everything we can and then work out what fits and what sticks. And that's a good way.
It's not like a good way. It's a way of doing it. It sounds like
an expensive way of doing it as well, because you've got all of these musicians that are involved and they've all got to make a living as well. And there's a big community of people there to work with.
I mean, the people that were singing, though, were there through the kindness of their own heart.
Well, they dragged them off the street.
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, come on in, you come.
Yeah. Just come on. It was literally just a bunch of like mates and even my producer's kids and stuff like that. It was just
great.
Everybody that we could get.
Great.
Which was awesome, and it was a fun experience just having people there, being involved, and also just like the song. It's not really. This is something I totally forgot to mention, but it's not really fully a song though.
No,
because it's like 2 minutes long.
That's right.
It's like
that's like impact. Right, see you later.
Yeah, but it was. Do you know? Whenever I remember having a conversation with my manager, and he was like, "When are you going to finish this song? When are you going to finish this song?" And I was like, it's done.
It's done.
And he's like, it's not done. There's like no middle in it. There's no like, there's no last chord. Like, it's 2 minutes long. It's not a song. And I was like, yeah, it's not supposed to be a song. It's like, it's supposed to intro everything.
Yeah.
And I remember then there was that conversation of just like, just finish it like you would if it was a full song. And then we can go back to it being this. And I say, nah. Nah, which sounds really lazy, and it probably is because I'm inherently lazy, but I also feel like it happens a lot where, you know, whenever somebody says, oh, do this thing, and you're like, nah, it's not really what I want to do, and then you do it, and then that's the thing that gets used, and you're like, but I never wanted to do that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not making that mistake. No, this is it. This is the song. And it was like that idea of like, do you want to go see an opera or whatever, and they like have a piece of music playing as people are taking their seats, and it's supposed to, is it an aria? I can't remember, but it's a piece of music that's played to preempt you as to what you're going to get in the theatre piece that you're about to watch. And that in my head was what this song was. It was like just trying to lay the groundwork, and also it's the first album track that anybody was going to hear from me in 4 years. So I was like, no, we can't. I don't know how, but I want to just like blow the ears off people really quickly and just straight off the bat. And it just made sense just to like top load a song, just like chuck everything at a song and just be like, yep, it's just loud and unapologetic and deal with it, because I wanted to have that impact. Obviously the rest of the songs, you know, they have their journeys, they're sweet, blah blah whatever. This one,
it's just it, like you say, top heavy, like straight away, full steam. Yeah,
because it's what are people expecting you to release after so long?
Yeah,
I just kind of wanted to shatter.
That's the trick.
That illusion.
That's the trick. It's brilliant.
So that anything that comes after can be whatever it wants to be. But this song is also what it has to be and what it wants to be.
It's as long as it needed to be, I think. A song's as long as it needs to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we get told that we have to have these songs that are just within the constraints of what radio will play, and they have to be a certain amount of time, and then that leaves you sometimes a little bit suffocated because you want to write more, and then other times you think, you know, the hook that I've written there, if that repeats for 3 minutes, is going to get kind of boring. And
but what's that Phil Collins song? I can feel it coming.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest song actually ever from start to finish. And it's just such a tune. And I like that it doesn't really fit that mold of, like, what is that? Verse, chorus, middle, eight, outro, chorus.
Yeah.
Boom, there you go.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me happy that, you know, and that's the nice thing about doing a concept record. Somebody's like, why is it not a song? It's like, it's a concept.
You're allowed.
Yeah. You can be as weird as wonderful as you want to be, because it's like, it's coming from my brain.
They're just bloody lazy.
Yeah, I know.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I just
lazy.
couldn't be asked to write the end of the song. But I'd said my piece.
Yeah.
I'd said whatever I wanted to do. I think the last thing I added to that song was just those outro words of like, you know, throw stones if you want to, break bones if you want to, that high horse have a good view. They were literally the last lyrics I added to it. And it was just to get my foot in before other people do, and go, okay, you can judge me if you want, that's fine, because you will, because you're humans and that's what we do. And you can take me down for all of the things I'm about to say in this record, fine. But then, you know, just getting that last word in of like, that high horse of a good view, because it's like, because you're perfect, you know, have fun, tear me apart.
Done.
Yeah,
Nicely done.
But it's just giving people that option, and that was the only thing I wanted to add, and I didn't feel like I was taking away from my idea of like that pre-album piece thing by doing that, because I felt like it was necessary. Because I don't know, I don't mind being judged, and it's inviting people to do so. You know, you want to judge me, go ahead, have fun.
Yeah, you're asking for it.
I'm asking for it, but normally when you tell people, like, oh, go on ahead and hit me, people will probably not hit you.
Takes the fun out of it, that's why.
Yeah,
I suppose so. Yeah. You're allowing people to have a go, because you're going, well, you know, judge all of this.
Yeah, and then they don't. So, but maybe they will. I don't care. It's fine. It's my life. I've lived it. I've done it. So have fun. I'm over it.
Good. We'll all learn. We'll all learn your lessons.
Yeah, learn from my mistakes. Don't do what I did. Basically, moral of the story.
Otherwise, you'll write a brilliant album and become a multi-millionaire. So don't bother. I'll do that.
Oh, imagine. Well, then I've laid that groundwork, and then it's boring to copy someone, isn't it? You got to do your own thing then. Maybe go and live life completely perfectly. And see what album that makes.
Yeah, fair point.
I've done the opposite. But I think that's it. I think I've covered my notes.
What's next for the track?
What's next for the track? Gosh. Just hoping people listen to it. I'm not hoping people like it. I'm just hoping people listen to it. Because even if they listen to it, you know, you get that play, get that money, you know. Don't matter. I just hope that there's more ears on it, you know.
Well, then
obviously
maybe,
it'd be great if they do.
And in the future, we may be able to write some more, but together.
In the same room.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be perfect.
That's
I
it.
can't guarantee food, though. So.
No, well,
even if I'm a multi-millionaire tomorrow.
I'll bring my own gangsters.
There you go.
We'll be all right.
Bring your own food. Bring your own booze.
Yeah. No, but as an aside, and also just as important, you know, it's been brilliant for me to watch you do what you've done over this album and be part of it as well. This can sound like a real cheesy, bleeding, smoke blowing moment, but it's been it's really valuable, and I've learnt a lot as well about, you know, what it will actually take to write something and elevate your writing by actually being more exposed than actually you would ordinarily have been. So it's going to change. Just change every time you write something. It changes the way you write the next thing. Like we were saying earlier on about going through the process to get to the next bit. You know, this has been, you know, important for me to be a part of it as well. So it's an honour. I'm chuffed to bits.
It's been great to have you back. I mean, we're actually in the same room.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue to work together.
That's great.
So that's great. I haven't ruined a relationship there. That's awesome. Sick. Great.
I'm going to pop Nathan's Abbey Road cherry on Monday.
Yeah. We're going to Abbey Road Monday.
I know, I've never been there before.
You're going to go?
Sound like that humble dick again, don't I? I've never been to a recording studio. I'm such a competition winner, man.
That's the joke we have now at the minute, is the competition winner photos.
We did a video, didn't we, for Vivo?
Vivo Discover.
Right, and then there was a photograph that your manager Rick took, and it was like, going over his camera, and I've just got the guitar like that, and I've gone, hey, like some stupid competition winner, like, I can't believe it, look where I am.
But that's the thing now, it's more fun now to do the photos.
So now the thumb, that's it, is going to come out at every point.
If you're at Abbey Road on Monday, we're going to get one.
Oh, it's going to be really, the cheesiest picture we can find. It's easier that way. It's going to happen anyway. This has got mind of his own, this little thing. He's like, oh, photo, it's going to pop out. No, it'd be great. It'd be really good.
I'm excited. All right, let's wrap it up. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching, if you're listening, you should have watched it because it's been super duper exciting and you're missing my crazy eyeball. So, what are you doing? Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're having a happy, happy day and that the world is treating you the way you deserve. And if you could just go and buy the song now, great. Thank you. He's got kids and a wife to feed.
I know.
So.
I know.
I got London rent to pay, so all right. Bye, guys.
It did it! No! You swine, I tell you! You swine, stay down! Stay down! Shoot. Something like that, wasn't it? I bet that's the wrong key too. So you're going to blend that in. It's going to sound really ugly over the track. Wonderful.